22-year-old is being accused of committing a sex crime against a juvenile. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department currently has Washington under house arrest due to COVID-19 precautions. He's been charged with sexual assault against a child under the age of 16 and lewd acts committed by a person over 18 with a child. What a fucker.
What a fucker indeed. I'm glad I don't know who he is, and I probably never will now.
I tell you what, right now I'm gonna go sell his action figure and get rid of it.
I tell you, Fat Mack, he's no James Ellsworth.
That's for sure.
Now I'm going to act like I did know all about him, because I'm going to say Travers had a tryout for a match for Ring of Honor, has been a jobber on WWE SmackDown in 2018, and wrestled against Johnny Swinger on Impact Wrestling in 2019. Is that another John Morrison?
No, that's Johnny Swinger. Although you never know. That's the one that goes to all the sex parties. That's the John Morrison when he goes to the sex parties. He's Johnny Swinger.
The arrest occurred on November 25th, and the Las Vegas Metro Police Department are looking for additional victims of Washington. If anyone has information on Washington's crimes or has been a victim of him, they are urged to contact the sexual assault section of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department at 702-828-3421.
Operators are standing by.
Yes.
Children get your parents' permission to call.
Right.
Oh, Paystee, that's
unless your parents sold you to Washington, then you don't need their fucking permission.
Then you probably shouldn't talk to them about it. That is some really, really awful, shitty, horrible news. And we got some bad news coming up also, but I think we should get into some of the good news.
Some of the best news.
Probably the biggest thing that everyone is talking about in the pro wrestling world this week is the fact that Stinger is all elite. Yes, Paystee, after the 6-man tag on Dynamite Winter is Coming, a brawl broke out between Team Taz and the Nightmare family, and just as Hobbs went to hit Cody with the FTW Championship, the lights went out, and Sting made his way to the ring as Team Taz bailed.
Like little bitches.
Sizing up Arn, and then Cody, and then Dustin, Sting then made his way to Allen, who he hovered over as woo chants broke out. It was later announced that Sting has in fact signed a multi-year deal with AEW.
Yes, indeed, Fat Mack. Sting signed with the WWE in 2014, but was no longer under contract with the company as of this May. WWE removed all of Sting's merchandise from WWE Shop this past October in dismay. Also of note, Pro Wrestling Tees owner Ryan Barkin noted on Instagram today that Sting's new AEW t-shirt set a new record for the most t-shirts sold in 24 hours. Skull and Crossbones shirt. Who would have guessed, huh?
Right.
Sting last wrestled in 2015 when he suffered a career-ending injury during a match with then WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins at WWE Night of Champions. He was inducted to the WWE Hall of Fame the following year.
Well, you know, folks, I think AEW on Dynamite is a great place for Sting to finish up his career on his own terms because, if you know your history, Sting spent decades as one of the faces of wrestling on Turner Television while he was with NWA and WCW. Sting actually defeated Ric Flair in the final match to be shown on TNT for more than 18 years.
Yes, indeed.
Paystee, you know, when you were reading that, it just blows my mind that Sting was actually with WWE for 6 years. It did not feel like that.
6 years and one match. No, it was two matches.
Three matches, I think.
3 matches? I think it was 2. It was just.
Well, he had the WrestleMania match, and then I think he had like a one-off nothing match with like a nobody, and then he had the Seth Rollins paralyzed him match.
Yeah.
It was 2 or 3. It definitely wasn't.
He didn't
more than
suffer a career-ending injury. WWE just got their usage out of him, had their rights to his merchandise, and said, "Hey, go home." You never wanted to come here because you thought this was going to happen. Well, guess what's happening?
You called it, buddy.
At least you're not Kurt Angle. Just wait till you see what we're going to do with him. Fucking A.
Yeah.
No, I'm really excited for this. I think we could pause here and talk about this a little bit.
For sure.
You did note he went to Arn and then Cody, but it was Arn, then Dustin, then Cody, then because he went through like each era to get to Darby, which was symbolic and important. But his fucking theme song, man. I know I was talking about this before the show, but it's like constantly in my head now. And it's my theme song. He can't have it. It's mine. I'm going to file for rights to it. And yes. But God, he looks good for a man 61 years old is what I heard today. I don't know if that's true.
Yep, he's 61.
But he looks damn good. And I think, you say he's probably not going to take a lot of bumps. I think he's got to have at least one match. I'm expecting him to do something with Jericho.
I don't really know if he can, in all honesty. I mean, he definitely has an injured back. He's 61 years old. If he does anything, I think he's going to come in and swing the bat around a little bit. I can't see the man really taking bumps. I mean, and if I was Sting, I most definitely would have wrote that into my contract. So many people have before, such as Taz. You look at Taz, Taz is not going to take a bump.
As he's putting a Taz mission on Cody Rhodes last week.
Yeah, but he didn't take a bump at all.
He had to bump onto his ass?
Well, I never said he can't sit down. I'm just saying that, I mean, only time will tell, but if he does do a match and he hasn't learned from his Seth Rollins match, he's dumb. I mean, he's just stupid if he has any matches. I don't care what they are. That's just... He already knows he can't. His body couldn't handle it 6 years ago. Now it is. I mean, but he does have the advantage that he hasn't really been working for 6 years. So I'm sure he's been keeping himself in shape, and he hasn't really been putting himself through a lot of bumps. So that has to help. But I would be surprised if we seen him wrestle every week. That would really surprise me.
I don't think it would be an every week thing. I would think it would be in dire circumstances. I just got to think he's there for more than to just manage Darby Allin. You know what I mean? If you're going to do that, you could do that with like a fucking 1-year contract,
Right.
You don't have to stick around for many years and make the point and retire with it.
No, but he can come in swinging his bat around and doing his Sting thing,
Yeah.
I mean, just look at when he was an in-ring competitor in WCW, he went a year without having a match as an in-ring competitor, as the top guy.
Well, then on
you
Dynamite,
can do it.
Jericho freaked out because the Inner Circle's not getting along, and he said next week on Dynamite we're going to have a town hall, and if this isn't going to work, I'm going to disband.
And everybody's gone. Yeah.
So I'm
That's
thinking
interesting.
it could also turn into like a, NWO Wolfpack kind of situation there, and Sting coming in for that makes total sense too.
Am I the only one though who will be more than happy if we don't see another town hall meeting for another year?
Well, we're gonna see one next week.
I know, but like that's good. We don't need to do one every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks or so.
No, definitely not. Definitely. I do like the little hokey gimmicky things that they do though, and it's fun.
Oh yeah.
It's a good watch, and anytime you can entertain me without actual wrestling going on in the ring is good, because I've spent enough time watching WWE.
Which is all just outside of the ring stuff and no wrestling.
and then after all this, Triple H came out in a presser. He was asked by somebody whether WWE would be open to working with other companies, and he said, "Yeah, we're always open." It's just how long and how lucrative a deal is it going to be for both parties. We're looking for something 5, 10, 15 years. That's the kind of thinking we have here. Yeah, that shows in your storylines.
Yeah, right?
Fucking hey.
We're definitely looking years out.
It's funny stuff. I'm really looking forward to seeing what NXT does with WarGames to kind of match up. Because like I said, main event on SmackDown is Kevin Owens and Otis taking on Roman and Jay, and that's not great. It's not great. It's probably good, but no.
What's sad, though, is that's going to bring in a hell of a lot more eyes than Dynamite, which is still
Probably.
sad.
Dynamite had almost 1 million viewers this week.
Yeah. So, time will tell. I just think that we're all excited to see Sting back there, and I'm just happy to see him, I'm sure
Just
he
on
didn't
the
want
screen
to.
again.
Yeah, I don't think he wanted to end his career the way he did it in WWE. Like you said, if he could have one more match with somebody, I would prefer it be a young guy like a Darby Allin or something, but I don't know. I don't think a young person is going to be able to.
Obviously, he's got to be in the fourth. He's got to be the fourth man in the match against Team Taz, right? It's Cody, Darby, Dustin, and Sting. And maybe he won't have to be involved in the match that much, but I think he's got to be their fourth guy. Because now
is there a match?
Yeah, I'm assuming that's what they've been building to for the past 5-6 weeks with
So
Team Taz
it's
and
Ricky
Cody
Starks
and
and Brian Cage
and Will Hobbs.
And Will Hobbs. So who would be the fourth person on their team?
Taz.
But Taz doesn't wrestle. He's not wrestling. They'll probably be like the corner men or something, probably.
Taz's son.
No, he better not wrestle.
Who was Sting's ultimate foil in WCW that you could see joining Team Taz? Let's do a little fantasy booking for a moment here. Who's another person who could come back that would be like, holy shit, and it's not Hulk Hogan?
I guess you could do Ric Flair, but God, we don't need to see another Ric Flair wrestling.
We already got a Woo on AEW. We don't need two. And that's another thing I thought, because I wasn't really big on WCW back in the day either, but how did Sting end up with the Woo catchphrase too? That's not kosher.
No, Sting's catchphrase is Woo. Ric Flair's is Whoo. So one's WHOO.
No, it's not spelled that way. They don't spell it that way on T-shirts. Woo? It's WOOO.
No, not Ric Flair's. And Sting's is WOO. Sting has the call where he covers his mouth up like a megaphone and does the woo.
It's a lot shorter.
There's a difference. There's a difference.
One less.
It's wrestling. It's wrestling. There's a difference.
So I'm gonna.
People try just like the RKO is different than the Diamond Cutter, Paystee. Don't you know that?
I wonder if it is. Because I think if I'm thinking back to Talking Shop-A-Mania, Nature Boy's shit has 4 O's after it. So maybe Sting's has 2 O's.
I think you're right.
I think 3 O's, and Nature Boy has 4.
It's the length of the ooh. It's the length of the ooh, is what it is. It's kind of like when you go from dating a girl named Lynn, Lyn, to a girl named Lynn, Lynn. You really got to be careful how you end it when you're talking to her, because if she thinks you do a Lynn when it's supposed to be a Lynn, you're thinking of her, aren't you? This is going to be fun though. This is going to be good, and it's good for Sting for getting a payday, That's and in a company that's going to respect him. I mean, WWE, we all knew from the beginning, was never going to respect him, and I think Tony Khan definitely respects Sting. I think the difference is Tony Khan grew up on Sting. Vince McMahon, was already running he was running a wrestling company before Sting was even, outside of UWF in California, so. I mean, come on. Vince is just always going to be Vince.
Yeah. But Dynamite felt damn good. I haven't watched a non-pay-per-view, and I guess, you could kind of call this a pay-per-view because it was a special, but I haven't watched a regular television wrestling show that made me feel as awesome as this one did in a very, very long time.
Oh, yeah. When this episode ended, you felt like you had watched an event, At least I did. I felt like I had watched an event and was giddy and excited and happy, and I don't know. It was good shit.
It was good shit.
Oh,
there was other good stuff on Dynamite too, but we're just gonna hit the highlights, and you guys can go watch and enjoy the rest for yourself.
Yeah.
That Battle Royal was pretty fun for a Battle Royal. But it is what it is, and that storyline will be to say for next week, and I have a feeling we'll be talking